When I first saw this interview clip,
ironically, the place we haven't been a lot is in the cockpit and with the pilots, and so it would be difficult to tell an Armored Core story without meeting the characters that inhabit that world.
I kind of lost hope. I wish I had been proven wrong by the final release of the show, but well and truly, it's just confirmed to me that the people making it didn't even try the games. Armored Core has been telling stories without human characters in them for well over 20 years at this point, with the first AC game being released in 1997. Armored Core 6 was able to tell a story without human characters in it perfectly fine, much more recently than that.
I won't miss.
Even within the setup and story that they have created for their own episode, I think it would change very little if you removed the human pilots from the equation, other than making the episode more fun to watch. Before we go any further, there are going to be spoilers in this video for the 11-minute episode. If you haven't seen the 11-minute episode, go watch it. It's 11 minutes. I'll wait. I mean, pause the video. Let's get through this thing. The first few minutes are spent with Keanu moping and drinking and stealing cigarettes while a bar patron does an edgy monologue.
You know how they say if you want to be able to come back whole, you gotta leave some part of yourself outside the core when you go in.
For some reason, Keanu has an air-like voice in his head, which just isn't a thing in any Armored Core game other than in 6. Because in 6, Coral is fucking sentient. You know, like the power source of the mechs in Armored Core 4 Answer, it's not sentient. Kojima just gives you cancer. It doesn't have a brain. Keanu's just fucking schizophrenic, I guess, because the funny lady in his head says that she's a side effect of his augmentations.
I'm what everybody's shaking their heads behind your back says I am. Obsolete augmentation surgery.
Which, like that's like half of the fucking lore of 6, you know? You got half of it, whatever. This entire section could have been cut, and there would have been zero impact on the plot of the short. It could have just started right here with Keanu getting into his mech, or it could have started 20 seconds later with the mech deploying. The story that they've decided to tell is not at all benefited by Keanu smashing a mug on someone's face, and all the dialogue that we got right after the mug smash could have easily been given, you know, inside the fucking robot. It's not like it's impossible to show somebody as a drug addict through dialogue and voice acting direction. I mean, shit, listen to Rummy over here scream and tell me this dude's not on crack.
Ooh, I'm invincible! Done and dusted! Hook me up, boss. You know I deserve it.
This worthless 5 minutes is what we got out of their attempt to introduce us to the characters of the Armored Core world, as they said, and it wasn't worth it. It was not worth the Master Cheeksification of the series. Yeah, it might sound harsh to compare this to the Halo TV series, but in my opinion, it's a very easy comparison. They took a thing people liked and were fans of and removed the stuff that people were fans of and liked in favor of making characters more relatable. Because we've got to pull the helmet off Master Chief to relate to him. And we've got to pull his pants off too and show his ass to the crowd. Thankfully, we didn't get to see Keanu's cheeks, we just got to see his fucking toes. The move to show faces in a series that's historically been faceless adds nothing, and further detracts from the Armored Core branding that they're trying to slap on this. It's literally half of an episode before we see an AC, or a core, as they call them in the show. 5 full minutes before we see our first AC, and the first thing they do is make anyone who's played the games go, ew, what the fuck, why are they calling them cores? And yes, I know AC stands for Armored Core, so does everyone else who played the games. But it sounds weird and shitty to have them called cores, because a core is a piece of an AC. An AC is an entire thing. This is a core. This is an AC. Do you see the difference? But past that, I don't even think they should have started with Keanu getting in the mech. I think they should have started with a fucking briefing, because that's how missions go. Does Keanu even know what he's shooting at? Because we don't fucking know what he's shooting at.
Target's inside the mountain. Why wouldn't dispatch tell us what it is?
Because it doesn't matter.
Oh no, he literally doesn't know what he's being deployed for. Of course. Because this is fucking stupid. Let's just take a second here and think about this. How do you expect someone to complete a mission that they're presumably being paid for without telling them the mission? Like, is it just fucking go into a mountain, bro, blow something up? AC games have never been like shy of being like, hey, there's a school of orphans here. Fucking kill them, John Armored Core. Go blow up those fucking protesting workers. Why don't they just tell Keanu, oh, you have to go kill this last bastion of augmented people. They're just like you. And he's like, okay, you're paying me, right? Like, that's how Armored Core goes. This nobody tells me anything bullshit is really dumb for someone being deployed in a huge, expensive murder robot. Every mission in AC gives you a detailed objective and tells you, hey, go shoot that guy. Doesn't matter if you don't shoot this guy. Sure, sometimes it's a fucking lie and 5 dudes pop out of the sky to just murder you because you killed too many people. But still, it's a briefing. It's got an objective. You know? Objective-based gameplay. That's Armored Core is about missions. There's no missions, just, yeah, it's inside a mountain. I'm like, what the fuck? What is inside a mountain? That's fucking dumb. Anyway, moving on, we get another grating moment of not air calling AC's cores and Keanu using the Vanguard Overt Booster as flares for some reason. Let's take a second and talk about why that's really, really dumb. The VOB, or Vanguard Overt Booster, is from Armored Core 4 Answer. That's one of my favorite games, and the one the channel's built around, and there's a link in the description for how to play it for free on your PC, and you can play it in multiplayer. Yeah, play the game with me. Anyway, so I should love this, right? I should love seeing the VOB in this show. It should be like, I should be soy jacking like, yo, it's from 4 Answer, it's so cool. Except it doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is the VOB here but not the flares? In 4 Answer, everybody has flares. Like, you can make missiles go away by pressing the circle button on your controller. How did Keanu find an infinitely more complex technology sitting in his fucking backyard in the VOB and not flares? And how is he cool with just fucking detonating it to shake off a pack of missiles that he could have dodged? Like in 4 Answer, when you get a VOB, there's a corporation handing it to you. You have a billion-dollar corporation who wants you to kill the planet and everybody on it, handing you these rocket engines to fly around with. Where the fuck did Keanu get them? Is the AC equivalent of stealing copper wire just fucking strapping rocket engines together that you find on the street? Who's leaving them around? Where did he get them? Anyway, this scene also has a super cool looking slow motion shot of Keanu deploying his shield from his wrist. What the fuck? That's not how they didn't play this fucking... That's not how that works. When I first saw this fight scene, I was confused as to why, like, Keanu kept going like, oh, let me put my shotgun away like a moron. Because it appears at first glance to anyone who's played AC6 that he just has an empty arm on his AC for some fucking reason. Because there's no arm shields in AC6. As it turns out, he's putting it away because, I don't know. Seems like you should be able to hold the shotgun and the shield at the same time, considering that the shield deploys from the wrist and not the fingers. Oh! I guess he can just fucking do that thing. So why isn't he doing that? Why? Oh, that's why. That's why he put his shotgun away. It's so that he could get the cool shot for the trailer. This laser sword is cool. I'll say something positive about it. I like it. Add it to the game from software. It's a cool laser sword. Nice. And this next section just feels like fucking nothing. I don't know. I don't like the dialogue. Like,
they're not trying to hit you.
I know.
They're just making you waste velocity on oblique vectors.
I know.
it seems contrived and stupid. If they're trying to kidnap him or whatever to bring him to their augmented people's hub, still doesn't make sense for them not to hit him, because it clearly shows, like a minute later, you could totally rescue a pilot who's in an AC that's mostly demolished. Keanu doesn't do that. He pops him like a fucking crate. And I like that. I actually like this. I think it's cool that he kills the dude. That's very in line with AC. What I think would have made it better, though, is if we didn't cut to Keanu's face every 30 seconds during this sequence. I genuinely think that if they had not shown Keanu for the entire episode and only shown this single human who Keanu decides to murder as the one representation of a pilot, it would have been, like, way better. It would have had way more impact. This fucking
Nobody's like
edgelord bullshit doesn't hit when you're absolutely identical and doing the exact same thing as what they're doing. Like, you're exactly like him. I understand you're trying to enforce the nobody's like me edgelord shit by murdering him, so you're the last one alive, but don't you think it would be like a better angle to, I don't know, literally not show Keanu for the entire fucking show, so the reveal that he's a tubed up gremlin sitting in his meat compartment is better. The "he's just like us" comment would have hit way harder if you didn't already know that Keanu was just like him. Like, fuck. This shit is so ass, man. I don't know. Enough about this story shit, though, and why it's mediocre at best. Let's talk about the ACs. None of them use parts from the game. Yeah, like, none. There's a Melander head, and the missile launcher that they're all using is actually in the game. But all of the other weapons that the cores are using in the game are slightly fucked up. They've got missing bits. They don't look quite right. You know? Like, for instance, that shield that they use is on his fucking wrist. Or the Morley cannon, which is a back weapon, has been mounted twice on the quads. Because, yeah, the show gets weapon arms, we fucking don't. It's just like, why name your episode after Armored Core if you aren't going to use anything from Armored Core in the episode? That's it. I'm done with my soapbox rant on why this shit is garbage. If you like my opinion, subscribe or something, and if you don't, then scream at me on Discord or in the comments. We'll have like a 2-week-long argument about it across several social media platforms. It'll be super unhealthy. It'll be great.